The two differences in the art styles between Starcraft and Warcraft is Warcraft, we really try to push the proportions, push the color, push the dynamics of the characters and the art. And Starcraft, we really want to try to focus on keeping it dark and keeping it gritty, not as over the top, not as much, blatant humor and things like that. So we keep both licenses having their own unique, distinct look. And we're still working on that. We just recently pulled back some of the team color on our Starcraft units to make them not as bright. We added a little bit more grit and a little bit more grime to some of the Terran buildings, and we're going to keep doing that all throughout until we release the game. Starcraft 2 takes place 4 years after Brood War, and we've already shown right now that Jim Raynor is in there. We've shown shots of Zeratul, shots of Kerrigan. So there's like little characters that you've met before that are making recurring roles. As to where the story goes from there, we can't really get in too many details, unfortunately. But we're basically taking off a little bit after where Brood War left off, and we're going from there. When it comes to the design of the characters, we didn't want to just create another version of a character we created in 1997 or 98. We really tried to take the essence of what the creature was, for example, the Zergling, small little rabbit, bite your ankles sort of critter, and then just keep that and then update it with, a couple new features just to keep it fresh. It's a unit that's evolved over the past couple of years. It's not the same thing that you saw, back in 97.
We evolved. Now the time has come for us to step back into the light.
The basic way we come up with units for StarCraft 2, we actually have two. A lot of times the artists will get together and just blue sky ideas. Hey, wouldn't it be cool if the Zerg had this? Or, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we added this to the Protoss? And we'll come up with ideas, and then we'll talk to the designers about it. And they'll say, oh yeah, we gotta do that. Or, you know what, that's great, but the Colossus already does that. And that's when we decide, oh well, do we want to change what we have, or do we want to, so. And then also a lot of times the designers will come up with an idea like, we need a unit that's fast moving, that does splash damage, and can attack air. And we'll go, okay, well, what would that be? So we'll jam, the artists will jam up a bunch of ideas, we'll show it to the designers, and they'll go, yeah, cool, I like the elements of this, but can we use some of the, the armor plating over on this one? And we'll have one guy kind of combine all those together, and that's our finished concept. And from there we go to modeling, then we texture it, animate it, and then it's in the game for a week until we change design. My favorite unit that I've worked on, I would have to say, is the Stalker. It basically is kind of your Dragoon from the original Protoss, but it's a Dark Templar version of it. It's not as big, it's not as powerful and armored and devastating. One of my favorites, I have a few, but that would probably be the top runner. The way that technology has progressed since the original StarCraft has really allowed us artistically to really, really make the coolest art we can. We have all kinds of particle systems now, specular maps, normal maps that give us shininess and give us, bumps to the characters. I'd say the hardest thing with that is trying to keep the focus gameplay. We can make all these killer explosions and all these great lasers, and then you can't see anything on the game map. You got some cool looking effects, so we try to balance that with, we make our explosions, but we don't go too crazy on them. We want gameplay to stay the focus. We don't want people getting distracted or not being able to select units because there's 400 million nukes going off and they cover the screen. So we really try to keep artistically ourselves, pushing ourselves artistically, using all the latest technologies and everything, but still keeping the gameplay like first and foremost.